How to boost your confidence in an interview. Knowledge hub. Factory. Imagine this. You're sitting in a small waiting area. Your hands cold, your heart racing. You can hear the faint tick of the clock on the wall, but every second feels like an hour. You've prepared for this interview for days, maybe even weeks. You know your qualifications, you've rehearsed your answers, but as soon as the door opens and they call your name, that tiny voice inside whispers, "What if I'm not good enough?" This is where so many dreams die before they even begin. But I want you to imagine a different scenario. You're still sitting there, waiting for your turn, but this time, you're calm. You take a deep breath, feel your shoulders relax, and when they call your name, you smile. You walk in with the quiet confidence of someone who belongs in that room. You answer questions with clarity, share your thoughts with ease, and leave the room knowing, not hoping, that you gave your best. The difference between these two moments isn't intelligence. It's not experience, it's confidence. And that's exactly what this video is about. How to build unshakable confidence for your next interview. I made this video for you. Yes, you, the person who has doubted themselves before, who has walked away from interviews thinking, "I could have done better." I want you to know this. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you can build. Today, we're going to go on a journey together. First, I'll help you truly understand what confidence is and why it matters so much in interviews. Then, we'll talk about the common struggles that hold most people back and how to break free from them. After that, I'll give you step-by-step strategies to boost your self-assurance instantly and for the long term. And finally, I'll leave you with a message that will stay with you long after this video ends. So, if you've ever felt nervous, unprepared, or small in an interview setting, stay with me. By the end of this video, you won't just know how to be confident, you'll feel it. Understanding confidence in its simplest form is the belief that you can handle what's coming. It's not about knowing every answer or having the perfect background. It's about trusting yourself enough to navigate whatever happens. Think of it like riding a bicycle. The first time you wobble, you're scared of falling, you're overthinking every move. But after some practice, you stop thinking about balancing, you just ride. That's what confidence feels like. In interviews, confidence is magnetic. The interviewer isn't just listening to your words, they're watching your body language, your tone, your presence. People who walk in with self-assurance send a silent but powerful message. "I can do this job, I can be part of your team, but let's make this relatable." Think about a time you met someone who seemed unsure about everything they said. Their voice shaky, avoiding eye contact, hesitating before answering. How did that make you feel? Probably a bit unsure about them too, right? Now think about someone who looked you in the eye, spoke with calm certainty, and shared their thoughts clearly. Even if you didn't know them, you felt like you could trust them. That's the power of confidence. Let me tell you about Sarah, a young graduate I coached. She had all the qualifications for her dream job, but during her first two interviews, she froze. She couldn't get words out without stumbling, and her nervous energy filled the room. But here's the thing, she wasn't lacking skills, she was lacking belief in herself. We worked on her preparation, practiced mock interviews, and focused on breathing techniques to stay calm. By her third interview, she walked in tall, smiled naturally, and answered questions with stories from her life. The result, she got the job. Confidence isn't arrogance. It's not pretending to know everything. It's being comfortable with what you do know, and being okay with learning what you don't. Common struggles and misconceptions. Get real. Most people walk into interviews carrying a backpack full of fear. Fear of being judged, fear of not knowing the answer, fear of saying the wrong thing. One big misconception is thinking confidence means having zero nerves. That's wrong. Even the most confident speakers and leaders feel nervous. They just learned how to work with their nerves instead of fighting them. Another myth, that confidence comes only from years of experience. Yes, experience helps, but you can be brand new in a field and still radiate confidence if you prepare well and own your story. I remember meeting Ahmed, a fresh graduate who thought, "Why would they hire me? I have no experience." But during our coaching, I asked him about times he led a group project, solved a problem under pressure, or learned something quickly. Suddenly, he realized he had plenty of relevant stories, he just hadn't seen their value. Once he started seeing himself as capable, the interviewer did too. A struggle many people don't talk about is overthinking. They think, what if they ask me this tricky tricky question, or what if I make a mistake? This drains your energy before you even walk in. Confidence means preparing for what you can control and trusting yourself to handle the rest in the moment. And here's the thing, interviews are not interrogations. They're conversations. The interviewer wants you to do well because they want to find the right fit. Your job is to show them who you are, not to prove you're perfect. Practical confidence boosters, alright. Let's talk action. Here's a step-by-step system you can start today. 1. Prepare like a pro. Research the company, understand the role, and know your CV inside out. The more you know, the more secure you'll feel. 2. Practice out loud and just think of answers in your head. Speak them aloud. Record yourself. Notice your tone, speed, and clarity. 3. Power posing before your interview. Stand tall, shoulders back, chest open. This isn't just psychology. Research shows it signals confidence to your brain. 4. Breathing techniques if nerves hit. Inhale deeply for 4 seconds. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Repeat 3 times. It calms your body instantly. 5. Dress for confidence wear. Something that makes you feel sharp and professional. When you look good, you feel good. 6. Tell stories instead of listing skills. Share short, clear examples from your past. Stories stick in the interviewer's mind. 7. Reframe mistakes if you slip up. Don't panic. Smile. Correct yourself and move on. Confidence isn't about perfection, it's about recovery. Think of Oprah Winfrey. She didn't start as the media powerhouse she is today. She faced countless rejections early in her career, but she walked into every new opportunity with the belief that she could add value. That mindset built her empire. Your interview isn't just about them evaluating you, it's also about you deciding if you want to work there. That shift alone can make you feel more equal in the conversation. Emotional ending. I want you to remember this. Confidence is not about being fearless. It's about showing up despite the fear. Every successful person you admire once sat in a chair before an interview panel, feeling nervous, questioning themselves, but they walked in anyway. They spoke anyway. They believed, even when doubt tried to whisper in their ear. Your next interview could be the moment that changes your life, but only if you let yourself shine. So prepare, practice, breathe, and then trust yourself. You have stories worth telling. You have skills worth sharing, and you are more capable than you realize. When you walk into that room, don't just think, I hope they like me. Think, I have value to offer, and today, I'm here to share it. Imagine this for a moment. You're sitting in the waiting area for your interview. The air feels heavy, every second dragging on like an eternity. You try to focus, but your heart is pounding so hard it feels like the whole room can hear it. You glance at your watch, pretending to check the time, but really you're trying to hide the nervous fidgeting of your hands. You know you've prepared, you know you have the skills, yet a voice inside your head whispers, what if I mess up? What if I'm not what they're looking for? Now picture a different version of that moment. You're still in the same waiting area, but this time you feel calm. Your breathing is steady. When they call your name, you stand. Shoulders back, head held high. You walk into that room with quiet assurance. Greet the interviewer with a confident smile and speak with clarity and ease. You're not there to survive the interview, you're there to own it. The difference between these two moments, it's not luck, it's not about being a genius or having the most impressive resume. It's confidence, the quiet, unshakable belief in yourself that changes the way you walk, talk, and present yourself. Confidence in an interview is not about arrogance or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about fully owning who you are and what you bring to the table. And here's the truth, nobody is born with it. It's a skill you can learn, build, and strengthen just like a muscle. I've seen it happen countless times. I once worked with a young woman named Sarah. She was incredibly talented, had a degree from a top university, and had done amazing internships. But every time she walked into an interview, she froze, her voice shook, her mind went blank, and she left feeling like she had failed herself. When I asked her what she feared most, she said, I'm afraid they'll see through me, like I'm not as good as I claim to be. That, my friend, is what many call imposter syndrome, and it's far more common than you think. We worked together for a few weeks. I helped her prepare answers, but more importantly, we worked on her mindset. We practiced speaking her answers out loud, rehearsing stories from her life that showcased her ability. Their full potential because they're playing a game that was never designed for them. Being the topper of your life means you create your own scoreboard. If peace of mind is your priority, you measure success by how calm and joyful your days are. If financial freedom is your goal, you measure progress by the steps you take toward building that freedom. Why Sigma rule thinkers never follow the crowd. Sigma personalities aren't antisocial, they're just selective. They understand that being around the wrong people can slow you down more than any personal weakness. They choose friends who inspire them, not those who drain them. They don't show off to gain approval, because they know approval is temporary but self-respect is permanent. A topper of life is a leader, even if they're leading themselves. Story example. There's a man named David Goggins, a former US Navy SEAL. He wasn't fit, wasn't athletic, and struggled with poverty and but one day, he decided to create his own mental scoreboard. His only competition became yesterday's version of himself. He trained until he could run ultramarathons, complete multiple elite military trainings, and inspire millions. That's the Sigma way. Stop running their race and master your own. The power of micro-victories is the truth. People overestimate what they can do in a day, but underestimate what they can do in a year. If you truly want to be the topper of your life, stop looking for giant leaps and start collecting micro-victories. Waking up 30 minutes earlier to work on yourself, that's a win. Saying no to one unhealthy habit, that's a win. Reading 5 pages of a good book, that's a win. Speaking up once in a meeting when you would have stayed silent, that's a win. Each micro-victory is like a brick. One brick won't build a castle, but if you place one brick every single day, you will eventually build a fortress of success. The Sigma mindset focuses on these small wins relentlessly. Facing the storms. Why failure?